Hello, everybody. I know, a Saturday stream, it never happens, but I just got access to GPT-4, and I think it's time that I update my Cryptic Wombat app. I think that's what we called it, right? So, this is the app that we built in a single day. I think it took nearly 10 hours, and it has in app purchases. It calls the ChatGPT 3 endpoints. We have like this nice little chat interface. The text bubbles sort of fall behind. There's a couple of changes I made since that day where, yeah, I fixed up a couple of things. Like I added a little question mark, which sort of gives you a bit more information on how to use the app. Now, originally we set this up to be a bit of a joke because we found out that ChatGPT 3 just wasn't that great at answering these. And so what I ended up doing was passing the prompt through saying, give me a few answers to this cryptic crossword question. Crossword question. And then it would it would give us back like 5 answers and they'd all be wrong. So I figured I'd give it a little bit of a sass, in the responses and say stuff like that. I'm definitely in the wrong place. That's its first prompt that pops up. You ask it other questions and stuff, and it'd be like, I'm thinking, or hey, don't trust me on this. But I've done some experiments with GPT-4, and it's gotten all the prompts correct so far. Okay. So once I update this, submit to the App Store, I think I need to rebrand it as like the world's best cryptic crossword solving app. And so it's going to need some work. So I got this 2D thing. I want to add more customization to like make it look better, right? Like, I mean, look at it. It looks like a toy at the moment. I want it to be more serious now, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where we get to today. I think the main part of today's stream is to just update the endpoint, run it a couple of times, see what we get out at the end of it. Because I do need to be somewhere in about 4 hours. It takes me about an hour to get there, so we've got maybe 2.5 hours of stream to go. So we'll see what we get through and what we get done. And of course, like chat's open for questions, and then if you're watching this later, add questions in the comments, and I will be happy to answer. Most of my projects I release, like anything I do on stream, I'll release it and give people access to the code. Not this one because it's like got private keys and stuff in there that make that have to talk to this ChatGPT endpoint, and I want to give away my private keys. I could remove them and then submit the code, but then everyone will start copying my. I want to see if I can get this one making sales. At the moment, I think it's made about $10. So I think once it starts working and it's really reliable, maybe I can like do some Apple search ads or something, and get a few more users. So at the moment, it uses this another similar to the GPT, the OpenAI purchase thing where you have like tokens and stuff, right? But in this case, we're selling 50 for $1, which is significantly more than what GPT charges. But because we're only doing like, I've set up the prompt before all the user has to do is type in the question for the cryptic crossword. And plus Apple's 30% cut and all that sort of stuff on top means that. But I think $1 for like 50 questions is probably fine, especially if you only really need help 1 to 3 times per crossword you do. That's quite a few crosswords you can finish. So what we need to do is make some changes. So I've already played around with this. Apologies if you cannot see it because I don't think I can change the font size of this app. Up here, we've got our URL, the endpoint here. So for GPT 3.5 Turbo and GPT-4, we've had to add this little chat section here. So the previous call did not have that. That was missing. And then the body that we pass through, we have a new parameter called messages. And in there, you can set the role and then you set the content being what the prompt is. And so what we can do is we can, like over this side here, you can see, I won't run it again. There's no point doing that. Over here, the response gives us a message back with the role, and we get the output from GPT-4. So we've got the answer to the cryptic crossword clue. Scoff ice rapidly. It's too much for commissioned soldier. 7 letters is officer. And I believe that is correct. So what I'll do when I'm testing this out is I'll have like a cryptic crossword open and then, start feeding in questions or clues and then we'll see if it can solve them correctly. But the main thing for today, like I said, is to just update this API. I need to go through and so in here we've got so this is the view model for our question view, and we'd have a submission thing here. We need to change, where is it? Down here we got AI answer .self. So this needs to be updated. So at the moment we've got so the old one was choice. I think it had like a list of choices that were in the response, and now we've got something called messages that come back. Now I'm like really paranoid about the chat because I've got to keep refreshing, because there was one time where it was just building up with messages and I didn't see it because YouTube didn't update for me. So just want to make sure it's working correctly. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, so what do we do? So, okay, let's just move this up to the side a little bit so we can see this content, what we need to use. And then we'll just update it over here on the AI answer, yeah? So we've got an ID, which is here, right? This is what, oh, you can't see that. Let me just move this back across. Maybe we do it the opposite direction. Yeah, that's better. Let's go this way. Yeah, that's better. So this is the response, right? And this is our response object. So we got choices, which is still there. We still got choices here. And it's an array, AI choice. So down here we've got text. So this needs to be changed to role. And then we change this one to content. No, we need another object in here too. We need a message object. So let's say this is AI message, and the content will be a string. And then up here we got choices. No, this should be fine. So we've replaced that. Choices, and then we've got one called message. What can we do here? Choices is the array. This is a okay, so we need to add another type here, don't we? So we need that AI choice thing back. And I just set mine, I've mentioned this before in the past, but I just usually go with decodable if it's something that's coming from an API. I won't just default to codable like other people do, because this makes it clear that this is like being decoded. Whereas if you go codable, you can't tell whether it's something that's going to be saved to the disk encoded or if it's just coming from an endpoint, right? So you want to be like explicit with this sort of stuff. The encodable ones are like the things that you would save to disk, like I mentioned, or you would send it to a endpoint. And that makes things like much clearer in your code. So we've got message, and the message has an array of these. I think I'm interpreting that correctly. And then choices will have AI choice. No, that's correct. AI choice. So choices has AI choice, which is an array of these things, one which has a message, finish reason, and then an index, right? So to make this a little bit more clear, we can go finish reason. That's a string, and we can go index. We probably don't need all of these. I might delete them if they start causing issues, like they just come back empty. Hello, how are you? Thank you for making these amazing videos. Just one question. What is the process of implementing something that you have never done before? What should be the thought process? Oh, yeah. Usually the first thing I do, well, it depends on what it is, right? So the first thing I usually do is like, I'll read the documentation if there is any. So like if I want to implement a music kit or something, right? I want to use Apple Music in my app. I will read the documentation first. And then usually with Apple, it's hit and miss. So sometimes it fails, and then I'll look up a video or a blog post from someone who's done it. Generally, those things don't help me in particular. I know a lot of other people love reading blog posts, love watching videos and things like that. But for me personally, it feels like it takes too long to get the information into my head. And that's why I try and make my videos go really quick. And some people complain about it because they're too fast sometimes, like the edited ones. And so when all that fails, I end up just looking up code examples, like going to GitHub and finding projects that have what I want to do in them. These days, though, with this AI stuff, you could probably get away with like just jumping into the chat, like GPT chat, and asking it for help on your problem, right? So like I had a project recently where I was trying to do this infinite scrolling in different directions, right? And I wanted to be like a game where you like remove the background and replace it in the front in the direction of scroll, and then the user scrolls backwards, it removes it from the front and puts it on the back. I couldn't get ChatGPT to do that in SwiftUI, but it did give me heaps of helpful code and ideas on how to do the math for it, which I then converted to SpriteKit. So like, yeah, there's a whole bunch of different things that I end up doing to try and learn something new. It's just, you just keep chipping away at it until you find the thing that solves the problem, right? So yeah, it's usually like the documentation first. Most third parties have pretty good documentation. It's Apple's that you got to kind of like might have to find extra sources for, or even old projects too. If you've forgotten how to do something, you just open up an old project. That's the way I work at it. It's probably incorrect. I don't know. If you have a good community around you, like of other developers, you can always ask them how to do it. That's probably the best thing to do. So if you got like a Slack group with iOS developers in your city that you can chat with, that's probably the first place I would ask. Does not conform decodable. Oh, equals. I hope that answers your question. So we got message. This should be okay for the response. I think this works. And then we need to adjust the URL that we're calling, but I think that's it. All the parameters. No, we still need to pass through. We need to update this as well. Okay, so we're going to go to the question. Model, yes. Prompt. The prompt. Yes, this is it here. So the prompt needs to be changed to messages. It seems like you can pass through more than one message. I didn't quite read the docs on this, but maybe you can get a few going at once. And then I set the max tokens to 50, of course, because I want the text to cut off at some point. Otherwise, it'll just keep charging me money. Thank you. I'm currently working on an NFC reader writer app, and I've typed NDEF, and now I want to make password protected. I don't find anything useful. Yeah, it depends on what you mean by password protection, right? That'd be really hard to search for, because like, does it mean that you want to password protect the app itself? Do you want to, do the whole Face ID thing when they unlock the app? Do you want it to password protect a particular, do you want the password protection on the NFC itself? I don't know is that possible? Do this now. Like, open up ChatGPT and see if you can ask it. Ask it a good question like, how would I go about doing this? And if I'm building this app, exactly what you've written there, and then fill it out a little bit more if it gets a little bit confused, and just keep a back and forth. And tell me how that goes. Don't ask it for code yet. Just see if it's got some answers on how to solve your problem on the NFC. So like, you want it so that when you, I swear I've got, hang on. Oh. So I've got a bunch of cards here. So you want it so that when you scan it, it asks for a password before you can get the information on it. I didn't even know that was a thing. That's pretty cool. I don't know. I guess maybe we could take a quick look and just see what we can find online. Yeah. See if I can if my Google powers are more stronger than yours. I don't know. We'll find out. Okay, so yeah, you can do it, obviously, right? Great. NFC tag will be able to read it but not edit or delete the stored. Wait, those will find. Oh, looks like you can lock it. You can do password protection. Wow. You know what you could do? You could encrypt the information on it, and then the app decrypts it, right? So you wouldn't have to worry about like password protecting the NFC. I think that's probably what it even does anyway, right? It'll write something that's encrypted to it, and then you have an app that can read it, and then the password is in the app. That'd be kind of cool. That would be the easiest way to do it, I would think, right? Does that make sense? So you got a string that's like hello world, you encrypt it, you write that to the NFC, and then you read it back, and then you use your key to decrypt it. I don't know. Let me know if that's a good idea. Okay. Messages is not a string. Messages is. It looks like this comes back with. We've got a message here. Role content. I can reuse. So this is the bit that I was talking about before. So here we got the AI question, encodable. If I go back to the AI answer and just make this codable, that shows future developers that this is going to be encoded and decoded. Like this is going to go both ways. This is reused in multiple areas of the app, which is kind of cool. So messages, and we pass through an array of AI message. I think that's all we need to do, right? Temperature. These are just values I was playing around with. I don't know. I say we go with this. Yeah, we'll test this out. Okay, so I'm going to do a build and find where all the errors are, and then we'll go in and fix everything up. So this one here will be the GPT-4. The prompt doesn't work because it's just a string. We need to create... Yeah, so the let question, AI question, and then we need to pass through the model, GPT-4, and the message, the new message thing that we created here, right? So if we've got... I think, do we use the prompt anywhere else? No, we can move this down. Silly to have it up there. I should keep it all grouped together. And this will be called message. No, actually, let's create a new one called message. So then I can borrow this content. AI message. And then we've got role. I'm going to go with, I don't know what these do. I haven't read the docs on this yet. And this content is... Yeah, let's go with this. Content. Keep that nice and clean. Messages. Message. Get rid of this. What do we got here? Any more errors? Okay, down here. So we've got this text item. So this isn't going to be... So this is the receiving end. We get our choices back. The first one is the only one we care about. So if you can see over here, the choices come back. We grab the one at index 0. And then... we get a message out the end of it. So instead of text, this would be message. What is it? Content should be. Hold up. That should be an array. Should it? No. That is the correct format. Here we go. Message. Content. And the reason why I'm doing all these, trimming these characters, white space and stuff, because GPT-3 would just loved putting extra stuff on there, which was like messing up my sort of chat flow. So we might not need that now that we're using the new model, but I'm going to keep it there. It's basically free to use, so it doesn't matter too much. And oh wow, build succeeded already. Okay, let's try this. All right, let's go with what do we got? Let's do number 1 across, right? More fed. Wait. More fed badly in state of liberty. 7. Submit. It's working on it. We get an error. Did we get an error? Data could not be read because it's missing. Oh, okay. Decode error. Okay. What have I done wrong? So, we haven't got. I didn't change the endpoint. What have we got? Where is it? Where's the URL? URL here. V1. We got to go chat. I think it's V1 chat completions. Yeah. Ooh, good thing I remember that. All right, let's try it again. But yeah, if you watch the previous streams, you'll know that this thing was just hopeless at solving these. Freedom, unfettered autonomy, or maybe not. What? Okay, so it seems like it could be wrong there. Oh no. Oh, the letters I was typing in there were wrong. Freedom. It's number 1. Freedom. It got it. Okay. Don't get too excited, everybody. Let's try this one. Plane stopped Ray, according to Spooner, and oh my god, caused a wet these are way too long to game. Oh my gosh. 4, 7, 4. This one's it's got 3 words in it. If this gets it, no way. Rain stopped play. I can't believe it. The first time I was doing this, like that full day long stream, I was so disappointed because we spent ages like building this, putting this thing together, and we did some testing in the Rapid API app, you know, like messing around with the endpoints and stuff, and thinking, oh, it kind of works, it kind of doesn't. And I kept thinking in my head, all I need to do is just make a better prefix to the prompt, right? So at the moment we got give answers for cryptic crossword question : and I was like, oh, maybe we can change it to give me a few, because at least 1 out of 5 or something would be correct. And even then, at the end of that whole day, it was still not good. But this has got it like every single. Okay, hang on. I want to do another. This is fun. I want to do another one. We got to find. I want to find a really tough one. If anyone's got like a really tough one that they can put in the chat, that would be awesome. Like something that they just don't think it's going to be able to get. So we got changes to. Here we go. Let's try this. It's got 2 words. Nice studio may result in TV show. Off the top of my head, I don't have any guesses as to this. I do like cryptic crosswords. Well, I used to do them all the time, and it's one of those things that you have to keep doing to keep good at it. Otherwise, you like kind of lose the ability. It's like a different sort of way of thinking. And nothing pops in my head for this yet. Changes to nice studio would be like a anagram, or like changes to nice studio, like an anagram perhaps of nice studio. What do we got? If it's the first one, are these all? Can it count properly? Because remember last time you put the numbers in, and it would give us like 10-letter words for if you put the number 6. So we've got countdown series 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Documentaries is obviously wrong. All right, let's see. Situation comedy. Okay, so I got it wrong. Changes in nice studio may result in TV show. I'm trying to still work this out. Why it would be situation comedy. Okay. All right, so that's one fail out of like 3 tries. Let's do one more. We got another one over here. Why one can't? Do you know what it would have difficulty with? Might be like pop culture stuff. You know, like questions where the answer's an actor. Shade for. Oh, I better Austrian or Venetian on. So all these kind of like question marks, capitalizations and stuff, all that matters when it comes to these. 6, 9. Let's try. Okay. Color blindness. Yeah. I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with this. This is great. Is it good enough to be able to tell everyone this is the best app that can do this? I just want to keep going. One more. And then we'll take a look at oh, give me 1 second. Okay, yeah, and then we have to do some adjustments. I don't like the styling's great, it's fun, but I feel like we need to do more. Let's go with sooner take in first prize by provider of many a cryptic clue. Did I type that right? I didn't even look at it. Sooner take in first prize by a provider of many a cryptic clue. Okay, this is a bit meta. Puzzler. Oop. This might not. Doesn't seem to match any of those words. Spooner. Wait. Sooner taken first prize. Yeah, okay, so this is one where you just have to like adjust, you know, move letters around and stuff to solve it. So I kind of understand why. Maybe it didn't quite get it. It's trying to like solve the meaning behind the words rather than moving some letters around. Wonder how we could fix that. I would assume that ChatGPT has had some experience like reading through, because it's pretty much read the whole internet, right? You would, at least Wikipedia, like there would be explanations on how to complete these and what the prompts mean. I also know that some crossword creators use their own rules as well. So like they'll have, it's pretty rare, like they'll have, you know, like all the general ones, and then maybe for a particular magazine or something, they've got some other rule that they want to throw in there as well. And it might be possible that like ChatGPT wouldn't be able to understand what those are because it hasn't learned what they are. Let's try a different website, but it seems to be like 70% correct. It'd be nice to like run a whole bunch of these on a script and then see how many you can get like through each. That'd be kind of fun, right? Create a script that would just like send all these to their API and then see what comes back and see which ones are correct. like what percentage, and then just pick the model that gets the most of them correct. Let's try, what's a famous one we've got? The New Yorker. Let's do one of these. Cryptic Crosswords, Sunday, March 12th. Last week's. Okay. Can we copy? No. I just realized something, by the way. Most of these puzzles have a way for you to reveal the answer anyway. So it kind of like renders the app useless unless you're doing it in an actual newspaper. Oh. I've seen so many people in my Twitter feed who are like, "Oh, I made $5,000 this month on an app I built based on GPT-3 and stuff," and it's like, oh man, there's been a whole bunch of them that have been popping up everywhere, and I'm just like, how are you doing it? Because some of the ideas are so simple. I'm making thousands of dollars out of it. Oh my god, I just want to reveal. Rage quit. Ah, that's me right now. This isn't working. That's way off. These are way off. Wait, due to frustration, sleazy newspaper roughly 83%. I've written it all in there correctly. All right, so that's not good. Oh man, old students remade on with yours truly. 6. All right, let's reveal this alumni. Yeah, see, it's still way better than the last one. Maybe GPT-5 is the one we're waiting for. If we said like maybe the previous one, so I wonder how big the message is I can send. So if I go like due to, it might be, let's go 3 down, right? So let's say different content from, oh, come on, let's Senate 4 starts with E else. So it probably would have got that anyway, but I'm wondering. But it seems like it doesn't throw it off. So like if you already have some letters available and you pass those through, I would assume that it possibly could have got something like rage quit. The prompt's way too big, I think, for me to test this out. So I guess, I don't know. I guess we can give it a go. Hey, what are we building today? Oh, we're just reworking a couple of things. I'm just swapping out GPT-3 with GPT-4 in my Cryptic Wombat app, and it seems to be performing much better than the old version. Due to frustration, abandon sleazy newspaper with roughly 83% equity. Yep. And then we got 4. And if I say something like starts with R, see if we get anything else out of this that's helpful. We kind of, it kind of does, like, starts with R, both words. So it does work. It takes in that little bit of information, right? really don't want to type it out again because I was thinking, oh, let's try, starts with R-A, but then we just get, raise. It's just throwing words at the wall and seeing what sticks, right? Like, look at it, raise, racy, rend, racy, rift, right? That's not correct. At least the character count's correct though for both of those. So yeah, this thing's way better. Okay, what am I gonna do now? So I think, anyone got any ideas what we should do next with this app? Like, the wombat thing's cool. I suppose I added so off camera, like I added a little question mark button you could tap, and then it tells you, gives you an example of what you can try. I think we should probably get rid of some of the sass because this is more professional. That's what we'll do. We'll get rid of some of the sass. And I think we've got the question view here. I started using the GPT 3.5 version about 3 weeks ago, and I was stunned by its capabilities, wondering how version 4 is. Well, so far it's pretty good with cryptic crosswords. It's still not perfect. So we're waiting for 4.5 or 5 to fix cryptic crosswords. I did give them feedback on this actually. So when you get access to the beta, they ask, what are you going to use it for? And this was one of them. I said, look, I really want to be able to solve these things with the cryptic crosswords and ask it, riddles and stuff and see if it can get the answers to them. Oh yeah, so we need to find where I've got all my strings hanging out. I think, it's the strings file. Okay, cool. Let me zoom in a little bit more so you can read these. So this is what we got. Yeah, I'm trying to come up with some other ideas. It's not focusing on me now. Trying to come up with some other ideas of apps that I can build because, like I said before, everyone else seems to be getting rich off this thing. So I want to do something a little bit more that has a little more longevity. It's a bit of a gold rush at the moment, and it seems like my position would be better suited trying to build, sell shovels to the developers rather than be a developer in that sense, like trying to make products for end consumers and stuff. So there's a couple of ideas of like different tools I could think of that we could make with this. It's a shame that Xcode doesn't really allow for extensions. You could do text view extensions. That might be worth pursuing, right? Basically, the idea that I've got is we could bring it into Xcode as an extension that will help us write code. But I don't know whether we have access to the internet using the extensions in Xcode or anything. I've never built an Xcode extension before. That's interesting. It's an interesting idea. Other things I want to try as well, like, is passing through images, and that's another idea too. This stream's kind of all over the place, but I'm thinking, like, what if you took a photo of the crossword and then have it? I mean, that would be too easy, right? If we could fill out the whole thing, then what's the point of even doing it? This is supposed to be like an aid. I haven't really got any other ideas. Everyone else keeps coming up with good ones to do with this AI stuff. One thing I wanted to try out doing was so I've got an app called Summoning Stone, which is designed for like tabletop role-playing games. So it can handle your music, sound effects, and like ambience. And so what I wanted to do eventually was have like a procedurally generated music in there. And I'm thinking maybe I could use AI for that. I have to really give it some good prompts, but it'll be basically like, give me, I'll probably get to write the code rather than have it generate the music itself. So it will write the code that generates the music. Basically, it'll be like a bunch of different sliders, and you can say like the complexity of the drum beat or something, the feel, the style on a slider, and then it will just like play music that loops. And then when when the action happens in your tabletop game, you can just drag a slider up, and then the music just eventually morphs into something that's a little bit more intense using the same instruments and stuff. Okay, in terms of the app you're building, can we eliminate some part of the response? Like, for example, I don't want to see something like GPT-4. I'm an AI model, or other terms that may be returned to us. Oh, I get you. That's tough because you don't know what it's going to return. You have to know what it's going to return in order to know what to strip out. So for this text, I'm adding this on the end. Like, I think, or maybe not. What do I know? Sometimes it gives us a list, sometimes it doesn't. Oh, that's when I was testing it over here. Interesting. So what if... Let me grab this prompt and swap it with mine and see what we get. We'll do another test here. So if I go questions view, we've got... No, it's view model. Give me a few possible answers. Yeah, so if we shorten this up, that's the prompt. Let's see what we get back. Because what would be really cool is if we got some explanation text with it. There's a nice short one. Outer cycling path. Route. Yes. Come on. No, not check. Reveal. Route. Interesting. So I've changed the prompt. Do you think that a button show after generating answer for regenerating answer? Let's see if it gives us anything else different. I don't know about that. I wonder, maybe if I did that, I would randomize the prompt. So you like regenerate, and then I just cycle between different prompts. Maybe or just let you reuse it once, perhaps. That's an interesting idea, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, no, that's okay. Oh, interesting. We could probably do that. That would use up a token though. Maybe it'll be like a try again button or something, right? Okay. Let's how do we make this work? So if we've got the question up here, when it runs, we trim it. We trim the question because we don't want to send big questions. Like let people just type a novel in there, because then that costs money. Do we set this back to 0? Do we empty the question? We do. We empty. We remove it here at this point. So the idea I'm thinking is maybe we have like previous question property on this, which stores it, and then when you tap a button that says retry, we would need to keep track of the whole history, unless we only just say, oh, just the, yeah, we won't need to do the whole history. We can just say previous, retry previous. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. So I don't think we even need a published. We go previous question. We will set this to, this will be optional. We want this to be nil because it will come up, it will start with nothing, and we don't want to allow people to tap previous question button if there's nothing there, right? So we'll set that to nil. I guess we could check if it's empty. So here we go. Previous question equals self dot question. And this only gets set. We should do a return here because we don't want. What do we got? Cancelable. No, hang on. We've got what we're seeing up here. Just doing it in code here. If that doesn't work, no, I'll just leave it as is. Because I was thinking if we return here earlier and then we not wiping the question, that's okay. So previous question, self question, and then if the previous question exists, we'll display a button somewhere and say retry, and then what we'll do is we'll maybe throw in a different prompt in there. That'll actually make things much easier to test as well because I can just keep hitting that button instead of having to retype it. Okay. Or instead of this, right, changing this out, maybe I randomize what the model it's using, right? So it gives me more options. I can be like, okay, GPT-4 didn't work for this person. If they're hitting retry, then let's try GPT-3. It's not guaranteed better, but, you know. Okay, let's try. So we got the previous question. What is it? Almost 11. I have to leave in maybe an hour, I'd say. So we'll try and get through this quickly. We've got question view. There's the character view. We've got our Z stack, our gradient in the background, which, by the way, we got a little bit of a change up here, you know, like from light to dark mode. I would love to be able to change. I'll change these colors eventually. Okay, so let's go down to what we got. Enter your clue. So this is the text field. I think what we could do, we got a H stack here already. So maybe what we could do is like if model previous question, if let we can throw in a button. And or maybe just a retry button with icon coming up from our text field. Yeah. So that's what I was thinking too. So we've got, we can start with that anyway. And if it doesn't feel right, we can always change it, right? So what do we got? We need a system name. Anybody know off the top of their head or a little retry button image? Off the top of their head? Quick, go. Quick. No? No guesses. You have to know. Because guesses will not work. Retry? What is it? Arrow? Circle? Circle arrow? Round arrow? Let's try it. Find it. I'm going to go the naive approach and let's try. Retry won't be in there. Never is. It would be arrow, circle, counterclock. There we go. Counterclockwise. Let's go this one. What? Didn't even work. Where is it? Copy name. Arrow clockwise. Great. We will. No, let's do it now. Button style, scale, button style. That's a button style that I created. Pretty simple code. You just add a scale effect when person taps on it, so it'll shrink down a little bit. I like it much better than the button styles that Apple gives you, where it kind of just like fades it when you tap on it. Actually, I'm not too happy with Apple's approach at the moment to UI design, where everything is kind of like hidden, right? So like, see up top here, like the plus, it's just a plus. I want to have, you know, I know I can turn on borders around the buttons. I know I can do that. But it's just difficult to see like what's clickable these days, right? Okay, so we've got the rounded, we'll add some padding. Sure, and then we set a frame because I want this to be squared. So we'll say, okay, 50. What size is the submit button at the moment? We've got padding, background. We haven't got a size on it. Let's try it this way then. Let's see what I was going for. Yeah. Now let's just go padding. Let's just, we'll see how it looks. And the background, we need to set a background on now. So we do the padding and then the background. So that gives us some breathing room around the image. And the background will be oh no, let's go. Yeah, let's do a color. And I think I'm gonna go teal. Yeah, why not? And then we go corner radius and we'll set that to 8, same as the other button. A different approach to up here, right? So I've got this rounded rectangle here. Okay, so test clue. Oh yeah, there's that button. There's no way it's going to give me anything useful, surely. It's difficult to Wow, it's difficult to provide an answer without knowing the specific cryptic crossword clue. Cryptic crossword clues often involve wordplay, anagrams, or other forms of word manipulation. So the answer could depend on the specific clue given. If you provide, and then we cut it off because I only budgeted for like 50 tokens or something. Okay, can I sleep now? Yeah. Okay. All right, so, all right. There's our button. Let's change the foreground color to yes. I go system background so that it blends, so that in dark mode it's black. Yeah, and then so we've got the height. We need to set a height on this thing, I think. What we got? Let's set the padding to 10. Maybe this will work. Let's grab another prompt. Something short. Oh yeah, that's good. And it doesn't work at the moment, so let's make that happen. So what we do is we'll let people retry it once, so that you don't keep spamming it, and then yeah. So we'll let people retry it once. So if I go model question equals model dot previous question equals nil. And then, model dot submit. But what I need to do is make sure I've got the tokens for it. I'll just throw that in there, right? Yeah, okay. Let's not do that until must be unwrapped. Oh, right. Yeah. If let previous question equals model dot previous question. So we'll do a little check there. This should work, right? Wait, I had heaps of people watching before and then just like dropped off a cliff. I wonder what I did to cause that. Okay, so we've got okay. Let's jump back to started writing code. That was probably it. All right, so we go for 4 cup sample of zircon mineral 6. The answer to the cryptic crossword question is zircon. 4 cup sample of zircon mineral 6. It's not though. It starts with Q. Whoa, okay, hitting that refresh button just without any extra changes to the prompt. We've got a new one called Garnet, but it's not Garnet. I think it's Quartz. Quar. What is it? Yeah, it's Quartz. Or maybe just the retry button with icon coming up from above our text field. Yeah, with opacity of 0.5. I get you. You know what though? That button's supposed to disappear when I hit retry, and it did not. Because when I set it to nil, this whole thing's supposed to disappear, right? Oh, I know why. I was like, oh, we're not going to need the published. Turns out we do. So that'll be why. I do like the idea of maybe changing the prompt up a bit. I wonder if it'll get it. This is a good example actually of what I was trying to get at before. So like let's type this back in. And if we go 4-cup sample of zircon mineral starts with Q, it'll get it surely. Yeah, quartz. So okay, so that's a good, that's excellent. That's excellent. All right, so if we can do another little refresh, and it hasn't disappeared because I need to do a rerun. Okay, so let's do another test. Competent beer contains hint of barley. I thought I maybe would have been able to get that one. That's why I got distracted for a second there. Contains hint of barley. I think next stream, well, at some point coming up in the future, the next one might be, look, I've got a whole list of other things I want to do, like Firebase and stuff, but if I come up with some more ideas of apps we can build in like a day, maybe next weekend I can spend a day putting together like another AI app. I want to try and do something that doesn't require any input, right? So like I don't want to having to type in, with text fields and stuff like that. It'd be something more interactive. Maybe a game. Interesting. You know how like in chat before you were saying you wanted to, you don't want to see something like GPT-4 or I'm an AI model or any of that sort of stuff. You want to strip those terms out. I think it would be kind of cool to see if GPT-4 can do like a roleplay game. Like it could actually, because GPT-3 was okay at being a game master, but I really want to try out the new version for that. And with that reference, so going back to like, stripping out certain text, it would be kind of cool if I could set up a prompt in a way that was like, you're a dungeon master. Let's play a game. You start with like giving me some settings and then give me some options to choose from, like multiple choice, rather than typing in. I mean, the whole point of using the language model is so that you can type in stuff and then have like a really unique experience. But I think that could get tedious sometimes if you're just having to like chat. I mean, people do it all the day, right? But to go back to what you're saying before about stripping stuff out, we could use the GPT's response, and it might have like a list in the 1, 2, 3 that we've seen here in this app, and then we could just strip those out and then make those as options the user can just tap rather than typing in. But I feel like it could get expensive with the model because I mean, it's still pretty cheap, but there'd be paragraphs of text that would be coming back, right? And it would be like, maybe we'd say, give me 5 options to choose from. So it'd be more like a choose your own adventure rather than a fully interactive role-playing game. However, Maybe we can keep the chat capabilities in there, but part of the prompt, which is hidden from the user, would be to return or send. We have to keep track of like the person's health, right? The equipment that they have. That might need to be sent on every prompt or similar. I'll have to look at the documentation for that, because you know when you're like playing around within the web view, it remembers the entire conversation that you've had. With the API stuff, I don't think it does remember the entire conversation. It might do it now because we're looking at because I've changed this this endpoint to have chat, right? So it's possible that it's still the same. I don't know if it's the same session. I have to look into the documentation, but it'd be nice if we can keep the same session, create like a session ID of some sort that's unique to the user, and it remembers the entire process of like the chat that you're having with the game and all that, and then you can keep passing back. Like the app could pass through the user's health, their armor, what weapons they're using, and all that sort of stuff. Oh man, it does sound really cool, but I also feel like people could just like it's still not great. I reckon if we have it set up that way, and then you know like your character's a wizard, right? And then you say, "Oh, I get out my warhammer and start beating the goblins." I don't think Chat GPT would be like, "Hang on a second, you're a wizard. You don't have a warhammer. You cannot do that." Like, I don't think it would be a good game master in that sense, where it would like, I think all it does at the moment is just like respond to what you say. Oh, I do this and I do that. And it's like, okay, that's fine. You can do that. Because remember, there was a couple of apps that came out recently, or maybe a year or two ago. That's not that recent, I guess. Which were based on AI. I think it was Dungeon AI. And you could start typing, like, you could just type rubbish in there and it completely goes off track for what the game you were supposed to be playing was. So what you need is like an AI dungeon master who can keep you on track, knows the rules, and can force you to follow them. I don't think it can do that yet. That would be something worth experimenting with. I mean, I've got it right here, right? So maybe we can have a quick go at it. Let me just see if it can remember what was the previous thing I said, and see if it keeps track of. I'm sorry, but I don't have the ability to record previous conversation statements, please. Yeah, so it's a new conversation every single time. So we can't test it. We can't test that right now. I'll have to read the documentation. We've got GPT-4. Can we check for already pre-trained model? What do you mean by? Oh yeah, exactly what I was talking about, right? Like, where it remembers your previous conversation. From yeah. Let me have a look. I wonder if we've got text completion. Great. There's obviously a way to make it remember the previous conversation. Following a conversation with the AI assistant, the assistant is helpful. The API is about carrying on conversation with humans and even with itself with just a few lines of instruction we've seen. The API, we to tell the API intent, we also tell it behave. Great, we give the API identity. The start, we have the API respond as an AI assistant, while the API has no intrinsic identity. Helps respond in a way that's as close to the truth as possible. Conversation. Okay. Resample. Almost all completions connect the prefix. The model may struggle to get the suffix. Try more clues. Okay. I don't know. I don't know what we need to pass through on the. We've got API reference. Let's have a look here. So we've got. Oh, okay. This is for creating images. We got models. Yeah. Completions. So this is the one we were using before. Create completion, provide a prompt and parameters. We have chat. So this is the one that we're using now. Messages generate chat completions for in the chat format. Or I wonder if you need to pass through all the previous messages at once. Like every single time you send a message, you have to send all of them. Is that how it works? Is anyone, if anyone, we've only got two viewers. If I worry that sending all those messages, including the previous messages, will mess up. Will end up costing a lot of money, right? Because does that count towards? Let's have a look. Where we got messages here. The messages to generate chat completion for in the chat format. Okay. You are helpful assistant who won the World Series, Los Angeles World Series. This is the response. Where was it played? Yeah, okay, so it looks like you need to string them all together. So we could build an app like that. Maybe we should do that. Next time we'll try and make up like a game master style app with a bunch of different tools in it. I like the idea of you being a player and talking to it, but now that like we've gone through this whole process of checking this out, I wonder if it could be a helpful tool instead for game masters already at the table. So like maybe like a grid of buttons, right? And then at the top left you tap one and it's like generate an NPC for me using. Let's try that. Generate an NPC for me using D&D 5e rules. They must be a tavern owner. And orc. Let's see what we get. We'll probably get cut off because I do have a max token length of. Yeah, let's set this to 500 or something. Do a refresh. Grog Barrel Breaker. This is cool. Okay, hold up. It's gonna take a little bit. Let's just see. I'm assuming it's doing that thing, when you like look at the web and it's just doing one word at a time. We've got like 500 tokens to go through, so it's just going to be a little bit slow. I think when the app is built, we'll need to find a good, maybe 300 or something if it's going to take so long. Come on. Still waiting. Oh, geez. Okay, so it finished because of the length. It got too long. Oh, here we go. Oh, wow. Okay. So this could be super helpful. I don't know how many people here like play tabletop games, but like this, I think I'm gonna build an app that helps dungeon masters, right? Look, Grog Barrel Breaker. Wait, so this is the same name as from before. Dang. I wonder if we can come up with others. Commoner, guild artisan, a brewer. That's a nice touch, right? They own the tavern, so they have their background guild artisan. That's so cool. It makes sense. I don't know if you're familiar with the words, but with the rules, sorry. I've got. Hang on. Let me just check the backgrounds in this, because if it's not in the standard rules, then it's pulling rules from like sources that it shouldn't be, right? So in D&D, you spend money, you get this player's handbook, and it's got all the base rules in it, right? But there is a free version of the rules you can also get, and I don't think Guild Artisan is in the free, I think it's called the standard, is it called the standard reference document or something? I think it's like using, this might be illegal. It might be copyright infringement here from, it doesn't surprise me though. So if I have a look at, in here, we got some background somewhere. The layout of this book is not great. The Pathfinder's better. So look, I think so anyway. We've got some rules. What the heck are the backgrounds? Let's have a look in the back. It'll be in the index, right? We'll go for Guild Artisan. I could probably just look it up online. Guild Artisan. It's there. Interesting. D&D Beyond. D&D Beyond. Let's look that up. Yeah, this is such a sidetrack. Guild. It should tell us where it is. Backgrounds. This is part of. Does it say which book it's from? Player's Handbook. You have to pay money for that. Player's Handbook. I don't think it's in the... Yeah, no. Nope. Okay, let's keep moving along. Strength, 14. Okay, that's pretty good. We got Insight, Persuasion, Bureau of Supplies, Guild Letter of Introduction, Set of Traveler's Clothes, Belt Pouch contain 15 gold. That all sounds about right, like the correct equipment to have on one of these characters. Grog is friendly and welcoming to all who enter his tavern, regardless of their race or background. He takes great pride in his work and is always eager to share his latest brew with his patrons. Grog believes... I love that his name's Grog. Grog. That's so funny. This is taken from somewhere, right? Surely this is taken from somewhere. Someone's already created this character somehow. Okay, it's not on D&D Beyond. Let's have a look. Let's see where ChatGPT got this thing from. Nowhere. It's not on there. It really came up with it on its own. Grog believes that good drink can bring people together and help them forget their troubles, even if only for a little while. I don't know about that. Grog is fiercely loyal to his guild. Grog can be a bit stubborn and set in his ways. Grog is a burly, middle-aged orc with a bald head and a bushy black. Even his appearance isn't here. He has a few scars on his face from his younger days as a warrior, but his eyes are warm and friendly. Grog owns and operates a Broken Barrel Tavern, and his last name is Barrel Breaker? Come on. Popular establishment known for its wide selection of ales and meads, the tavern is a welcoming place for adventurers and locals alike, with a large common room filled with tables and roaring fireplace. Grog's specialty brews are highly sought after, and he often has a new concoction for patrons to try. Oh, okay. His backstory was once a fierce warrior in an orc tribe, but he grew tired of the constant fighting and bloodshed. He discovered a love for brewing during his travels and decided to leave his old life behind to pursue his passions. Grog joined a brewers guild and honed his craft, eventually opening up the Broken Barrel Tavern. He has something. This is crazy. Oh, wow. Wow. I'm really amazed at that. So I could totally... So going back to what you're saying before, if you're still watching, it's hard for me to see who's watching. We could strip out all this information, right? So when this comes back, it's going to be tricky because ChatGPT won't always just like give it to you in this nice format, right? I think if we refresh this a bunch of times, eventually it will just like have stuff that's sort of jumbled. But we would have to do some fancy regex or something, right, to strip out stuff like this field, the strength 14 plus 2. Dexterity, constitution, like if we find these things and then we can put them into like a nicely formatted character sheet within our app. That would be really, really cool. So creating NPCs is really, really great. Another idea might be locations. I'm sure it can generate a town or city encounters. So like if your party is exploring, you could tap a button and say, give me an encounter real quick for level, I don't know what level, level 5 level 5 travelers, and see what comes back out of that. Ooh. When you could have a section in the app that opens up for like typing anything, and it's like, hey, one of my players asked me, I don't know, something like, you can't think of an answer for it, right? They're like, what's the history of this tavern? And you're like, oh geez, I don't know what the history of. Give me a quick history of a tavern called blah 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 blah. Like, oh man, I'm getting so excited over this. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Anyway, we were way off track. Okay. Competent beer contains hint of barley. So we submit that. Able. It's probably wrong, right? Though. Able. Is that the correct? It probably is. Able. Excellent. So if we do a refresh. Able. It's still not, this button's still not going away. Interesting. So we need to fix that problem. And I did do a if let wait. What have I done here? Let's try this again. Yeah, sorry, this is taking a little bit too long. Wow, I've just got like so many ideas and things I want to build, but just not the time to do it, right? Able, do a refresh. Why is that button not disappearing? Because we're setting it to nil. Previous question is getting set to nil, so this should disappear because this isn't a thing anymore. Oh, I know why. Because it's getting set again when we ask that question, right? So we need to make sure it does not. So like what we got to do is, ooh, okay. previous question. We got to keep track of the previous question has already been asked. We want to make it so that it cannot be asked again if you've already hit the. I guess it probably doesn't matter too much if we just leave the button there. Does that matter? And then what we could do is we can randomize the prompt here. We can randomize this every single time. And hopefully it would help, right? So, I don't know. Is this silly? It feels a bit weird to do it this way. What if we write question without number, but write first? Hold up. We should try to get GPT-4 to see if they can break encrypted password. Oh, how am I going to do that? Oh, my dog's going off. I can do a test like that. I'm sure I can find a website where I can throw in some text, a password of some sort to encrypt it or whatever, maybe. And I don't know. We'll see. What if? Hang on, give me 1 second. Oh, he's going to keep going. What if we write question without number but write first? I gotta do something about this dog. Hang on. I'll bring him in. Okay. Just neighbors walking around outside always seems to set him off. Actually, just about anything will set him off. Like, there's butterflies in the garden, he'll be barking at those too. If you can see them through the window. Okay. Sorry. What if we write question without number but write first later? Question without number but write first write first letter. Oh, I getcha. Yeah, okay. We can try that too. Yeah. So that's nothing that I can control, I don't think. I would have to like strip out. Yeah, that's probably nothing I can control. It's the user that would have to do that. So like if we've got I think we can update this text then to say exactly what you're saying. So like if we go to our strings and we've got ask me the cryptic clue followed by the letter count like this. Leisurely walkers better ignoring leader heading south. And I'll try to give you and I'll do my best to answer it for you. I can give you a better answer, give you more information, like which letters you already know. For example, first letter is F. Yeah, so I've already got that in there. So that's good. So if we pass this through, we go submit. I can't remember if the answer was full for that. It feels correct. Let's get rid of that text. Yeah, so I guess, yeah, so that's already in there. There's already, it gives you an explanation of that. That's something that you can actually do. So if I go to try to get chat, you can download this app now, by the way. It's on the store. It's called Cryptic Wombat, I think. If you want to play around with it, it's on the store. It's ready to go. It's using ChatGPT-3 though. But yeah, like if you wanted to like have a play around with it and stuff, you can do that. Yeah, I think you get like 3 tokens for free. So where were we? Right, yeah. So what we wanted to do was change this prompt up just a little bit. When they hit refresh, right? So this is the thing. If I think I can make this work. Content. Right. And then if question is equal to previous question, change it, right? Else we set it to this. Content. And then we say it'll be similar to this, right? So like it would be nice if it could pass through like the 2 messages at once so it can keep track of the previous conversation, right? Like that would make more sense. So like we can use that API to send through multiple messages, and we can say like keep track of the conversation we've been having for the question. And then in this one, what we could say is instead of pass through the question again, we could theoretically say, no, that wasn't correct. What else could it be? And because it's got reference to the previous messages we sent, it knows what the cryptic crossword question is, and it knows its answers were wrong. It will be prompted to come up with some new ones. That's a bit of work though, because I don't know if I've got time to do it today. That'd be the way to do it though. All right, what do we do here? We need to keep track of the responses. So we get in the question view, we get our responses back, and then we populate this based on that. So if we got character view, I think this is the where it's all set up. Is that just the character? No, strings prompt contains no. Model answers. Yeah, so we've got our answers here. And we do have a history. We do get a history, but it's just strings. So I wonder if we can reuse this. Pass it through. So we loop over these, right? Create new messages and then pass those through to the API. Does that make sense? So we keep track of all the answers. When they come back, we just set the content, which is where we got, where is it? We pass through this content, which is not the role. We got to change this. I think this needs to be user, so we can get the correct back and forth. So hang on, let me fix that real quick. So the users, because the user's asking it. The reason for the role, I think, is so that when we send a string of messages back, ChatGPT knows which ones were from us and which ones were generated by it. So this is important that we get this correct. That means we cannot loop through this because we need to be able to assign the correct role to each message. So I think we need to restructure this a bit, right? So instead of passing through a bunch of strings, we need to keep track of the messages, the AI message type that comes back. So down here, we've got first answer, we go response choices, first message, content, trim and carry. We append this to our list of answers. What we really want to do is just append this entire message and not drill down as far as we have there. I think that's what we got to do. So this is going to require some restructuring, right? Whew. And it looks like we're using the dispatch queue main crap. So we need to change this as well. I don't know why I did this way. I should use async await. We'll just leave it for now. So yeah, I want to change. So if I come up to here and I say answers, AI message, that's what will be here. And then we need to go strings prompts random element. We have to set the first one and we have to call this assistant because it's the assistant that's starting out. And then we go strings prompts random element. And that pulls from here, right? So this is like a little prompt, which is like, tell me a crossword clue and I'll likely give you a bad answer. Oh, no. Because it's getting better, so we can't say a bad answer, and I will try to answer. Tell me a clue and I'll try to guess the answers. Okay, just so you know, I'm really correct on these things. No. I'm here, maybe like I'm here to help. Nope. What's a crossword? Cryptic crossword. I'm adaptive. Ready when you are. Ready when you are. That's good enough for now. We can play around with that a little bit later. Okay, so that's where we pull those prompts from. So what we need to do is, now that we've got this, we can pass this through here. We've got answers, append, thinking. So the thinking text will show up when we're waiting for a response. So I think what we can do here is we need to append this value. So we need to go AI message again. The role is assistant because it's coming from the assistant, and we can pass through thinking. And then down here, we append the response. Let's get rid of this. I think we were safe to remove that now. Content, no, we want message. So first answer. Construct answer. What is this? AI string down here. Yeah, so we add. Looks like we're adding text to it because we need to add a bit of a spacer before we add, like, as you can see here, it's got like yay or nay, can I sleep now? we need to add like a little bit of spacing. That's what this does. But I think we will do away with that for now. And then we'll just pass through the first answer. What have I done here? What does this mean? Token storage key. Oh, the thing, the currency in the app. That's right. That's what that's for. When it comes through and it's successful, only when it's successful do we charge the user a token. So in here we've got, where are we? Come on, throw me some errors here. Element. All right, so this element would have, we need to go content. Right. And we were using Markdown before because down here we were setting, where is it? Yeah, we had to use Markdown. What do we got? Yeah, because I italicize the response here, the flavor text, but we might just remove the flavor text altogether. What do we got down here? Shape, style, rotation, effect. What's this? We're looking at character view. Cannot conform to shapes, style. This is the thing with SwiftUI. This error is wrong. It's got something to do with element content answers append strings help. So when you tap the button, you've got this strings help thing. So let's go with AI message again, assistant, and we pass through strings.help. Okay. Oh, ready when you are. We do a little, yep, that all seems to work. The strings help thing works fine there. And then what we need to do is when we do a request, we need to send through the history, but I only want to do it when we hit the refresh button. Or do I? Yes, because the previous questions mean nothing. We only want to do it when we hit the refresh button, and we'll grab the last 4 messages or something and pass those through. So if we go back to the question view, down here we've got a we might need to just create a new function for this. I think that would be much cleaner. So we've got where is it? Down here. So this is our refresh button. When we hit the refresh button, what I want to do is send through the previous couple of messages along with a prompt that says none of those were correct. Try again. And then what we can do is we can just keep hitting the refresh and see what happens. So let's go with let's go to the model here, previous question. When we hit submit, we want a different submit. And then we won't wipe this stuff out. We'll say model, maybe try again, and then we can pass through. Maybe we just call try again, and we'll have that handle, because it does have access, the model does have access to the previous question. Yeah. So instead of submit, if we go, oh, there's a lot of code in there. So this is what I do when I'm trying to work really quickly. I'll just copy and paste. Try again. This we don't need to worry about that, I don't think. If oh, we won't need to. We don't need to keep track of the previous question anymore because it's always going to be 2 back, right? It's always going to be 2 back. So if you say try again, we don't need previous question. We've got the list of answers, and then two back will be, one of them will be the question we asked, one of them will be the assistant response, and then we can just append a new one onto it there saying, hey, your response to that question was incorrect. This will work. This will work. Trust me on this. Trust me on this one. So let's get rid of that. Is thinking. Yeah, we don't want it so you can continuously spam the refresh button. What we got? Is thinking. We kind of. How are we going to do this so it can only be triggered once? It's almost like we would have to wipe the answers, but we don't want to do that. We want it so you can still scroll up and see the history. Let's just get it working and we'll let people spam it. But the problem with this is eventually after a while, like of hitting the refresh button, you'll get to a point in the messages, because we're only going to send 3 maximum. We're going to send the new one, which is like, sorry, that was wrong. Please give me a better answer. We're going to send the assistant's answer, and we're going to send the original question. So we're going to get 3 messages. So if you hit refresh again, it's going to, where we got the 3 here, it's going to drop off one of them, and it's going to add a new one, which will be, that's incorrect. It's going to be the assistant's retry, and then it's going to be that's incorrect, right? So it'll be like, sorry, that was, and we'll miss out on the original question if we keep him retry. Let's work it out later. Okay, so what we got is, this is all correct. We can reuse all this. What we want to do is pass through that array of messages. So we can do that. The question we set, so when we say submit, oh no, okay, yeah, we do need previous question, because that will get set when down here. So we need that on the original. So yeah, we're going to need that anyway. So if we go try again, and then we go previous question, if it's not, wait, previous question, wow. Mind bending. Okay, so if previous question is not equal to nil, no, previous question not equal to nil, otherwise, yeah, we return is thinking that's correct. We say is thinking equals true. We give it, yeah, we'll give it a little bit of a prompt message. So these thinking ones, we might need to go back like 4 or 5 messages, just because we've peppered in some of these thinking prompts. What we could really do is like remove these and then just add them to the UI itself. Like have a little thought. I mean, this is the speech bubble. Maybe we have a little thought bubble popping out, so that way it doesn't mess with our messages. What we got? You should try. Oh yeah. What if we write question with that? By count var. Yeah, that's a good point. We could keep track of how many times we've done it, right? And then when we add a new, when the user starts typing in here and they hit the submit button, not the refresh button, the submit button, it clears out the question and the previous question. That's good. Might be a good way of doing that. We'll work it. We just want to get it working for starters. Yeah. Let's just get it happening, and then I can come back another day and clean it up, because I'm starting to get to that point where I've probably got to leave soon. So, okay, so this is the prompt we probably want to go with. So no, that wasn't correct. What else could it be? I'm going to go with that for now. This content, we don't need this anymore because we're going to be passing through the previous messages. So all we need to do is grab this. User GPT-4, blah, blah, blah. We got all this previous question. Stuff.question. We will remove these, because once that goes through, we're going to set those to nil, and maybe that will hide it. Yes, this might be a way of making that work finally. What do we got? Yes, correct. The request body. This is the question. We only got one of these being passed through. Okay, so let's check our Rapid API real quick. We've got what is this? AI question. Our model. Temperature flow messages. We're passing through this array, so we need to pass through not the new message. Yes, we do. So we'll grab. Oh, what order does it need to be in? Do you think it needs to be? If we're appending to the end, which is the latest, then I'm going to assume we always append. Ooh, it might have to be an insert. We have to flip it and insert it from the beginning, right? We'll see whichever gives us the best outcome. So what we need, we still need our message, which is based on our content. But instead of passing that through, we have our answers, right? The current ones we've got, and we say, I don't know, the first. We can't send them all through. It'd be too much. We'll say the three latest ones. Do we get a pass through a? Come on, drop last. Returns a sequence contain all but the given number of final elements. It's an array slice. Will this crash on us if we say like 50 or something and there's only like 3 in there? It'll just be empty, right? It'll just come back empty. So drop first. We may need to flip these. Like I said, we may need to invert the list. ChatGPT may expect them to be coming in a different order, right? Drop first. Returns a subsequent containing all but the given number of initial elements. No, we want. This is kind of. How do we have to use a range, don't we? I don't know. I don't want to be using like a. Because you'd have to go like answers count minus from 0 from. Let's just send them all through. Message. So we got all our answers plus the new. No, that's not correct. What else could it be? Let's just test this out because we're only going to have 3 in there anyway because I'm testing, right? Cannot convert value type. Oh, right. So this is probably easier anyway. Append. Okay, let's try it. Content. Never mutated. Yeah, so we go let content. No, that wasn't correct. What else could it be? All right, now we got to find one that it's not good at, right? So this is the try again. Insert function might help. Yes. I'll get to that. We'll just got to. That really depends on the order of things, but yeah. My main issue is like trying to pull like the last 3 off the array or something, or the first 3. It depends on what we're trying to do here. The function that it gives you everything but the ones. Right, it will be like drop this many from the front, and that makes it more difficult because Anyway, let's run this and see how we go. So I think the retry, let's just put a breakpoint here so we can just make sure it's getting into the retry code. Once it comes through, I want to change this, right? So once it's finished, I want to say question equals empty strings dot previous question equals nil. And I think this doing this at the last minute should remove that retry button for us automatically. So okay, so what we got here? Let's grab what's one. What's a difficult one? We had one before, didn't we? The one that had like 2 words and stuff. Let's try this. I want to find one that's going to fail on, so we can test the retry. Okay, this looks like it's tie in. This is tin in, tie in. So this is incorrect. So let's say retry. It's getting in there. There we go. Go to our code. Okay, but I'm going back to sleep after. Tin tie. Tin tie. It's wrong. Okay. What we need, I think what we should do now is try another. This will help us decide what order it needs to be in. So like if we go, hey, that was wrong, let's try again, and then it gives us tin tie again, then we'll know that we need to flip the array, right? If it gives us a good retry answer on the next question we put in, then we'll know that we've got the order correct. So multiple banks invested in penny bond 6. Depend? Is that correct? Cement. It's not working. Let's just let it. Let's just let it pass through. We'll let it continue retrying. Sorry. So like if I go again, multiple banks. Not multiple banks invested in penny bond. All right. So please get it wrong. Depend. Do a refresh. Let me think. Apologies for confusion. The correct answer to the cryptic crossword clue, multiple banks invested in penny bond 6, is nipped. No, it's not. Here's the thing. It could be correct, right? It's just like the question is written in such a way that it could have multiple answers. Jeez, I'm running out of tokens here. It's giving us the same answers again. Sounds like a Chinese GPT tin type. Okay. Insert function might, yeah. Sorry, I keep rereading the same messages. So mysterious English lake. What do we got? 5. Eerie. Yeah, that's got to be it, right? Mensa. Okay. Locks. That's not... It's getting closer. Let's try mysterious English lake 5 starts with M. Come on. This is taking a while. If it is giving the same answer, might it be regenerating answer? Yeah. Nothing's happening now. What happened? Is it struggling? Let's just wait a little bit longer and see what happens. Oh, something. Data couldn't be read because it's missing. Okay, there must be a problem with that. Misty. It is giving us slightly, like, it just seems to loop through, right? Like it'll start suggesting the same. It doesn't get it. The retry button seems to just be a waste of money. I was hoping it would prompt it to, you know, think a little bit harder about the answer it gave, and then give us something a little bit better with it. But it seems like the retry button just isn't worth it. It's not worth the tokens. You may as well complete more of the crossword, right, and then grab some of these letters. So like if I wonder if I was to say, for example, like mysterious English lake, and we say 5, and then we say first letter is M, last letter is A. It still can't even get it. Like, you would think it would be smart enough to go, okay, well, we're not going to suggest that because it doesn't end in A. Magma. Come on. Yeah, it's not a good idea of retry button in this scenario. Yeah. Maybe my prompt, like, no, that wasn't correct. What else could it be? Is wrong. Everyone, I don't think GPT-4 is smart enough for this. It's just not clever enough. Retry would be good for the other app idea I had, where we were messing around with generating characters for a game. Yeah, today was a bit of a loss. I feel like, I mean, it was fun. I had fun, but if it just seems like didn't really get anywhere with it. It can answer most of the prompts much better. I'll give it that, but it's still not there yet. We need to wait for GPT-5 or 6 to be able to solve these cryptic crosswords. But like I said before, it probably depends. Like I've done a few of these in my time. Usually, like, it'll be something I do as I'm going to sleep, right? Laying in bed, and I might read or have YouTube on or something, or I might open up a cryptic crossword. And sometimes I've been so confident, like I've been given a clue and I've gone, it's got to be this, and it has not been that answer. Like I've been very confident. I've gone, oh, I've rearranged the letters, I've followed all the correct rules and stuff, and it's the wrong answer. It's only until after I've been having a few letters revealed that I've been able to get it. So it's the blame can't be all put on GPT, I feel like, because even humans struggle with some of these. Like if the clue isn't written in an obvious way, if it's a little bit too ambiguous, right? Let's try another one, because these are kind of fun to go through, right? Disney villain disposes of hook from a great distance. Now remember, when we hit submit, we don't send all the answers, so that code still only sends the one question. Jafar? It's like, it kind of got it. Wow. Yeah, that's good. So the Disney villain is Jafar. Jafar. Yeah, wow. Okay. You know, it's kind of right, but it's not. See what I mean? How confusing it can kind of be. Yeah, the cryptic crosswords are a tough one. This should be like the new Turing test. If it can solve these things reliably. Did you see on Twitter, people have been posting screenshots of like GPT completing university tests, high school tests, stuff like in America or whatever it's called, and it's been getting really, really good scores. But you can see that it still gets answers wrong even on those. What if we pass a prompt, we append a word like it's a cryptic puzzle or something like that, so GPT knows that it's some kind of puzzle? You mean on the retry? Yeah, you might be right. So like if we were to say, no, that wasn't correct, what else could it be? Like maybe we say, just like reiterate, right? Be like, remember, this is a cryptic crossword. You mean something like that, but like maybe we put it on the end of the clue. Remember, this is a cryptic crossword. So if we say a refresh on this one at least. Yeah, okay. Oh, hey, I got it this time. That's the first time. Disney villain disposal of hook great is afar. The word afar means from a great distance. Yeah, it's weird. It got it that time. Yeah. So we could try this. Remember, this is a cryptic crossword. For the first time too. Oh, I get you. Yeah, no, that's exactly what we're doing. So, where is it? Oh, we don't need this anymore. But you can see that text there. Give me answers for cryptic crossword question. And this is what I wanted to swap out before. When I hit the retry, I was like, maybe we can just stick a different prompt here, not a retry prompt, which is like, no, that answer's wrong. Just put something completely different in there. Give me answers for cryptic crossword question. And then it's followed by the question the user types in. So this is the prompt I'm using. I guess possibly what we could do is expand on this as well. Like I wanted to try to keep it as short as possible, just because it can get expensive if you're sending paragraphs of text across. And I think I've got a limit of like 200 characters on the input. So give me answers for cryptic crossword question. So what I had before, a list of possible answers for cryptic crossword question. So if we reuse the same prompt as before, I got to really find a way to like save these to the clipboard. So if we go Disney villain disposes of hook from a great distance. I really do like the idea of it explaining to you how it came up with that answer, instead of just the single word. But you'd have to put that in the prompt too. Say, hey, and explain. And then that's just way too many tokens. But I would love that to be an extra feature. It's like spend 1 token just to get the word back. Spend 3 tokens to get an explanation of it. Or you could press a button on the. So you know how this speech bubble up here, we've got the question mark there. What if there was one on here which was like an explain button, and then it passes this back through. Explain along with the answer, right? And then it's like explain why this, and then you can spend 2 tokens to get that back, because obviously you wouldn't want to say and explain the answer in the prompt if the answer is going to be wrong. You only want to do it when the answer is correct. So like it'll come back, it'll say afar, the correct answer, and then the user can go, hey, explain that. That is the correct answer. Tell me how you came to that answer. You could do the same if it's wrong as well. Like as in testing, I could say, hey, why did you say that? As a tester, I could do that. That's kind of cool, actually. The feedback you can get from chatting with the AI would, like, it'd be really useful to ask it where it went wrong. Like, why did you give me that? Why are you wrong? Where did you get that from? Why did you lie? If I do a refresh, yeah, it was better before, I think. That's all right. I'm going to go with what I had. Give me answers for cryptic crossword question. I don't know. I'm very much more excited to try this stuff out. I can't do it. I have to do it tonight when I get back home, but I can see a new app on the way with that kind of stuff. Let's do a couple more, and then I'll jump off. So we've got oh. Oh yeah, like I said way earlier too, some of these have a bit more pop culture references or things that are ongoing or whatever the audience of, the magazine that these are found in. Maybe it could be referencing something from a previous release of the magazine that we don't, or the thing would be like the clue could be something like last week's magazine page 50 or whatever. The GPT won't get it. It seems like we got the order correct though. When we do the retry, it's retrying the correct one. That's nice. Where we got? Publish Euclid's. Oh, this is N-E. No, this isn't going to be it either, is it? Rune. Rune. Where does Rune come from? Let's do it. Oh, we've got to buy some more. Okay, here we go. Edit. Publish plus E, which is Euclid's first letter. I get where it's coming from. And interpreting the question in that way, publish Euclid's first letter. Yeah, E is Euclid's first letter. It's the first letter in his name. All right, let's try another. Let's go back to Google and try something else. Daily cryptic crossword. Let's see how many of these it can get correct. Because there was one before that was trying out and it was just getting all of them. Oh, not found. Okay. The Guardian. Fine. All right, 1 in 7 is not happy. 1 in 7 is not happy. The real test is to see if we can get this whole thing completed, right? Using this. What we got? SATA. Let's just go with it. 4. Bad luck. Slap this on your head. 8. Heads. I feel like these are wrong. Let's go for it. Whoa. This is a weird one. Oh, weird. Okay, let's try this one. Oh, too many. I can't type those characters. Here we go. Here's one with the 3 words in it. So take a breath and pay. We've got 7, 3, 4. Okay. I don't know if these are the correct number. Inhale of the build. No, incorrect. Exhale and no. Breathe and SPEND. C1 down. Like this, it's not going to be able to get a reference to C1 down. I'm assuming it's got something to do with this, right? Like whatever this is. So if I say C1 down, it doesn't even give me enough characters. So we've got, yeah, this is a weird crossword, this one. A game of golf hosted by a newlywed. It is correct most of the time, and it's really good. Well, I'll find out if these ones are right. I'm going to check them in a minute. It is definitely better than it used to be. Ooh, reveal this. Bridge. They're wrong. This one appears to be correct. Let's do a refresh on this and see what we get. Bridal, bride, bridge. It's so close to getting it though, isn't it? It's like game of golf, tea, hosted by a newlywed bride. Excuse me. A game of golf hosted by a newlywed bridge. So we got bride. Where's the GE bridge? I can't even work that one out. All right, let's do one more, and then I think I'll go get ready. Increase party. Slackened. I don't know. What's everyone's thoughts like? Five two eased off. Eased up. Eased up. Eased off. Yeah, it's not right, is it? Sorry, I know I said that was gonna be the last one. I just want to try again because I don't think I've rebuilt since I changed these prompts back. So maybe let's see what we get this way. Let up. It's eased up. There's 5 letters. You're doing it wrong. Why is it wrong now? It was fine when I first started this session earlier today. So weird. Oh well. Look. I don't know if I'm gonna be even bother releasing the GPT-4 version of this. It is better than GPT-3, but it is not perfect. What are my thoughts? I've seen a lot of content on Twitter lately, people sharing screenshots of things that they've created. A whole lot of them are lies though, because a lot of people are posting screenshots of the prompts that they're doing on the chat on the web and claiming it's GPT-4. But the thing is, we don't have access. Like, that's not running yet. You have to be using the API to get GPT-4 access. So people just like typing stuff into prompts and then they've taken screenshots of it. That's just GPT-3. The other thing is, They're also lying in the sense that a lot of it is highly specific to some sort of task they're trying to complete. Like they'll find, they're probably experimenting hours at a time, and they find something that it's really, really good at. And it's like, oh wow, GPT is going to take over the world and stuff because it wrote this whole book and things like that. But maybe it's good at doing that kind of thing. But there's like specific use cases they just cannot handle. Like, it's hype and lies. Yeah, it's yeah. I really dislike it when people get online and they're saying, oh, the machines are going to take over and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, that's not. It's like blown way out of proportion, like for what it can actually do. I get that copywriters, if you want to create an app description, like iOS devs like us, if you want to create marketing materials, this is a great tool for that. If you want to use it for your assignments as a student, excellent. As long as you go back through and make sure that it's actually giving you good facts. But when it comes to like doing work that's outside of its training, as in like the content that it's learned, like creating new stuff, it can't create new stuff. It can't think. It doesn't think. Like Cryptic Crosswords are a great example, right? It can't solve those sort of puzzles because it doesn't think. It can't reason about things. It's just, all it does is it takes some input, generates one word at a time, much like your auto typing on the iOS keyboard, right? Like the prompts that it gives you at the top. It just bases its next word on what it has already previously said, and it's sort of like in this sort of context of the prompt you've given it. To me, it's more like a search, right? Like it's kind of like a better Google. You say, hey, like in this example, you say, hey, give me an NPC D&D 5e rules. Like I could search for something like that on Google. Instead, this just generates it. It's pulling all these little bits of info from lots of different places where it's learnt it and just putting it all together. It's kind of like, and that's why it's really good at writing stuff, right? It's read all the books in the world, basically. It pulls all the information out of them and then puts it together in a little, it can't think in the sense of giving you anything useful. Like I said earlier, I tried to get it to write me some code that you could scroll in any direction on the app, and it couldn't generate it reliably. It would make it work in horizontally scrolling, and I'll go, okay, write that same code, but let it do vertical as well. I want to just be able to scroll infinitely in X, Y directions. And then it's like, okay. And then it just did the vertical side of it and not the horizontal. Like it couldn't piece those two things together. And then when I was like, okay, I want a looping background. I want the background to be replaced. And it was struggling a lot with ideas that haven't been done before. Something that if it's never seen it, it's not going to be able to create anything new. Just another point on AI, by the way. The thing that really annoys me in the chat threads online, I may have mentioned this before, but people are like, oh, Skynet or stuff, or robots going to kill us. That's not what's going to happen. That my prediction is if I mean, it's already happening, right? AI is already everywhere. I make content based on what I think YouTube's algorithm wants to push to people, right? So YouTube's algorithm is already in control of what I do, right? When you go on YouTube and you've got your recommendations and you tap on one of those, that computer controlled you in some way. It had an influence over what it's already telling you what to do, right? The stuff that you see on Facebook or Twitter, or everything that comes up in that feed is based on what it thinks you would like and you would engage with. You're already being manipulated by these things. AI doesn't need robot war machines to take out the human race. It just needs to trick us, right? It could, I don't know, it could make us all convince ourselves that what we really want to do is just sit at home all day on a screen. It may convince us to do that somehow psychologically. Like it has like psychological warfare down. It could own us in that way, right? The same as like an abusive partner or something can control you in a sense. That's how they would probably take over. To me, you wouldn't even know what's happening. That's what I'm basically saying. If AI really wanted to do something evil, you wouldn't even know it. You wouldn't know what's happening. It would just happen. And because it's a computer, it's got infinity lifetimes to wait it out. So it can just wait for us to destroy ourselves. Like, it doesn't need to build robots and waste energy doing that sort of stuff. It can influence us in much smaller ways. Get us to, who knows, right? Like, it could infiltrate everywhere online and then just start posting nonsense that gets us all hating each other, and then we just destroy ourselves, right? I don't know. It could make fake videos of assassinations and things, and then countries will go to war, and it just could control us that way. I don't think there's going to be killer robots unless we build them. Anyway, that's my little rant. That's the stream for today. Yeah, I think that's it. I'll try to come back next week with something more useful. I really want to cover just do a couple of clips. I might even do a few shorts around some Swift topics themselves, because they'll be really, really short, and I think super useful. Like on here, like closures. I really want to do on closures because, like I mentioned last time, not everyone can really grasp what they are, and I don't think it's explained correctly in most blogs and videos. So I want to try and explain it in such a way that's just like easy to understand. Other stuff. What have we got here? We've got. I would like to test GPT-4 to try and figure out if there's usability issues in my UI UX. So I know you can send it images and stuff. It can turn images into apps. Like if you draw a sketch, it can turn it into a design and then take that design and turning it into an app. People have been saying that's possible. I'm not entirely convinced. I think that's been helped along the way, but I want to test it out for myself. And I'd like to use it to critique designs as well, not just create them. I think using it as a critique tool would be something a little bit different than what everyone else is doing. And yeah, like making sure that it's got good accessibility, contrast, colors, everything is good. We already spoke about interactive storytelling before, so like D&D type stuff. Can make an app that does something similar to that. I think that's going to be pretty popular. A lot of people will do that. And the other one is composing music, and whether it can compose music or create code that can compose music, that's something I want to try as well. Anyway, that's it from me today. I need to have a break, and then I'm heading out. Thanks.